and we looked at it. We've had her hearings. We just finished up our last hearing late last night. We've been putting 18 to 20-hour days in hearing from many who want Medicaid expansion, all the way down to the cross of who's pushing Medicaid expansion. In the hearing process, we've had hospitals come in from the health community saying, we got to have this. We have to have this. We need it for our bottom line because we're going to get a rush of people, individuals who are going to say, I need help. And it's called the woodwork effect. They're going to come out of the woodwork. And so the hospitals are fearful of that process. We started getting from the social services, the mental health, the recovery people, groups out there that said, we need this. We have it. We need the help. We were starting to get it from all social service sides. We had Planned Parenthood down there yesterday saying, hey, we need this. We need this because in the budget we defund Planned Parenthood in the budget. So we have so many things we are looking at, but there's been a huge wave. There was a protest Thursday down there, kind of similar to SB5, and actually a lot of the same players. And yes, so we had that, and but we stayed the course. We had healthy debate, very healthy debate within our own party, in our own caucus, but each member wanted to get to the right. We had different paths we were going, but at the end of the day, with the leadership of Bill Batchelder, and I have to point that out, Bill Batchelder made the call on where we were going with this. And he worked with our caucus and discussed it. He had individual meetings with each state representative. And sit down and didn't tell them how they were going to vote, but allowed the process of the hearing process to move forward, the education process. And Bill Batchelder and his leadership, on Tuesday, the Finance and Appropriation Committee voted to pull Medicaid expansion out of the budget on Tuesday. That's the beginning. After I leave, I'm going to be giving a couple Eagle Scouts some commendations for their honor up here, and then I'm taking off for Columbus again, because here's the process we're going to be dealing with next week. Next week we're going to be dealing with amendments. So the amendments were supposed to be placed forward to the chairman of Ron Olmsted's of 5 o'clock yesterday evening. So there's a lot of amendments, folks. A lot of them want to put it back in, and that's the other side. And so we are going to be debating. On Tuesday, we'll probably go into the wee hours of Wednesday morning in committee, trying to keep everything taking everything out. People want to put it back in. We're going to have to do a lot of parliamentary procedure process. So I expect it probably to be a good 18 hours straight in committee, in the process of debating, and the process of dealing with each amendment, and it's going to be an interesting time. But you're probably going to ask, how was the vote to take Obamacare out in the budget? How did we vote? We only had one Republican vote with the Democrats to keep Medicaid and that expansion in. So that was a pretty solid, and that was in Finance Appropriations Committee. So I would say we're real solid. And then, okay, when we get this process done in the Finance Committee, it will go to the House floor for a vote. And that'll be Thursday. So Thursday we will then go in the House floor, discuss debate it all over again, as probably quite a few amendments will be on the floor, and we will have to speak to each amendment. And I expect that I'll be doing my aerobic exercise, getting up and down and speaking to a lot of the amendments that they are going to try to offer up. So it's probably going to go into wee hours of Friday, but there will be a vote. And then, when it's voted and passed, it goes over to the Senate to do it all over again. The Senate will start doing its hearings. I've been in contact with Senator Alhoff. He's prepared, he's ready for it. And so that's just a little bit in the process. Then the Senate will do the process, they'll vote it out, and if there's any differences between the House and the Senate, I expect that then we'll go to call conference committee. Conference committee is working out the differences between the House and Senate version of any of the budget. I expect if it stays out of if it comes out of the House, when it comes out of the House, without Medicaid expansion in, I don't expect the Senate to put it back in. So that's the process, but I would just want to, again, tell you, Ron Armstead did a masterful job. Still has a lot of work ahead of him this week coming up. Keep him in your prayers. Keep many of your members in prayer, because it is difficult. We've been accused of being murderers or going to kill people. We've been accused that we will be primaried and we will be general election. Well, you know, folks, you have to make those decisions for our future. And I want to tell you a little bit of what I found out in hearings of Obamacare, the Medicaid expansion. Basically, Medicaid expansion is basically 18% takeover of the state budget. 18% of the takeover of our state budget. Federal dollars will be brought into the budget and basically intertwined, if you were to do Medicaid expansion, and intertwined into systems that will be hard to take out. So what we found out in Medicaid expansion in the process is, oh yeah, we hear the proponents saying, take it. Oh, you need to take it. All the other states are going to take it. And they're going to take our tax dollars, so you better just take it. Well, we all know that Washington broke and broken. And so we know that basically all we would be doing if we were to take Medicaid expansion is basically kicking a time bomb down the road for someone else. So in that process, I would say that you're finding out if let's say a scenario we had accepted Medicaid expansion. Well, you know, there's a lot of impact at local level. And I look at my county commissioner and future mayor out there and say, what the impact's going to be. You know, the services are going to ramp up. Does the county commissioners have the funds to help in the local level ramp this thing up? The woodwork effect, if they come in and want services. But the big thing is, when the federal government can't pay for it, who pays for it? So what will happen is, in the era of term limits, we who are in there won't be in there. Who would be in there will be the individuals who will have to make a decision. If we were to accept Medicaid expansion and then came federal government saying we don't have the dollars, then these people who didn't vote would have to that decision. And the pressure will be, the protesting would be saying, you cannot reverse this, you can't use state dollars. And there's only two ways you could do that if you were to, the federal government would say, no more. State, you have to do it. And that usually happens, folks. What you would have is, number one, the option one would be in 2018, which I would expect would happen around 2018, this whole process, where the federal government would say, we don't have it, or sooner, would be raising your taxes. Or number two, they would say, we're going to go back and cut all the local government funds and make the local government raise taxes. So basically, when you take a stimulus package of federal funds, like Governor Strickland did, you know why we had to go after the local government funds? Because we had taken billions of dollars from the federal government, and we didn't have anywhere to supplant and replace those dollars. So this is basically the same scenario. But I want to say something, and everyone's saying, what is Governor Casey thinking about? Well, a week ago Tuesday, he invited me over to the mansion, and we were discussing and debating this issue. I don't think Governor Kasich is one of those that just, he wants us to talk about it, discuss it, knowing the House was going to change it. He knew we were conservative. He knew we had to talk about it. He knew we had to at least discuss it and debate it in front of the public. And so we did. And now, you know, he knows the Senate's going to do the same thing. So I feel that Governor Kasich wanted at least in the process allow us to go through the process of hearing it. And we have. We have heard it. It's pretty easy to understand. And I have to say the media has been pretty brutal. Last night I'm getting out of the hearing, and they follow us all over the place with microphones and everything else. And you're going to hear a story about me that the Columbus Dispatch is going to talk. They're going to play this in a different angle. They're going, as Bill Batchelder is term limited out, he will not be Speaker of the House in a year and a half. And the media now is going to be doing a front page headline about me and Barbara Sears. Barbara is the one who voted to keep expansion in. But they're going to play that era that Hall and Sears are after the Speaker's position in a year and a half. And they're going to play that that's what we're fighting on. And that's not true. I actually suspended my operation to go after Speaker 5 weeks ago so I could focus on the budget. And so I told the Columbus Dispatch, don't even try to play that game with us. That's not even part of the process. But the media wants to say it's an internal battle of the Republican Party. When Jim talked about it, that's what the media wants to do. They enjoy that. They enjoy that they can try to present that we're fighting. And so in that process, you probably see the Dispatch on Sunday morning saying that this is all about Hall and Sears are fighting over the Medicaid expansion is the race to the top of who's going to be the next Speaker of the House. And that's not true. Well, thank you. But that's not true. I mean, Barb Sears and I may differ, and we voted different on Tuesday, but that's not true. That's just basically a game the media plays. So they're going to try to muddy up the water in the process of trying to say, well, this is our fault why we don't have Medicaid expansion, because Hall doesn't allow it because he wants to be Speaker of the House. Well, folks, it wasn't that. It was a hearing process and understanding my district. And my quote was, I'm voting the way my district seems to be the people I work for. And so that's a play they will be putting out. But again, there's a lot of, we pulled out the severance tax. We did that, and there was a reason why. First, we don't have the data. Second, the industry should not take claim of being taxed and individually taxed. And I'm going to go over things we've done in the budget, what we took out and what we are doing in Columbus at the Ohio House's presentation of the budget. Well, we took out the health care issue. We worked on putting higher education, looking at higher education and capping the increase of higher education only to 2% increases. We primary education K through 12, no district will get a cut. So if somebody tells you they're getting a cut, they're not getting a cut. So they either are going to be level funding, or if they have some opportunities for skilled students or some of the others, they can go after those dollars, but there's no strings attached to those dollars. Taxes, like I said, we got rid of severance tax, but in the same boat, we're going to give you it's over a 2-year period, a $1.5 billion income tax cut to the people of the state of Ohio. $1.5 billion. Permanent. Not just saying it's going to be here for, it's not saying it's just going to be here for a couple years until after election. This is permanent. So, yes, sir. It's a tax against the industry, oil and gas industry. It's a tax, basically, saying that we're going to tax the industry, and everyone who saw those tax dollars, they all became vampires, bloodsuckers. They all wanted it. I mean, everyone wanted a piece of it. Everyone said, "Oh, let's do this." What we were doing was going to chase an industry out of Ohio, an industry who's creating jobs. And I just let you know, I was a keynote speaker in Houston, Texas, 6 weeks ago, talking about, they invited me down because they liked our regulations and our process so well that Texas now wants to see what we do. Right. So just kind of want to talk about that and kind of update. We had over 280 wells drilled and fracked without a problem. So, just wanted to discuss a little bit about that. We did pull out the governor's increase of expansion of the tax base, where you were basically taxing a lot of professional services. We pulled that out. We decided that wasn't going to happen. But in the same boat, we're going to, after we're said and done, we're going to look at what we've taken out, and we're going to see if there's things we down the road can have proper long-term hearings on. And I expect that you'll have hearings just throughout the state of Ohio, so the general public can to give proper comment. But on the tax code, we did do some things in the budget, and this budget is balanced. Actually, it's less of dollars requested in the budget. Basically, it's $350 million less in 2014 that's been proposed from the governor's projected expenses. We are $350 million less. And we're in 2015, we're $1.48 billion less than the governor's proposal. But the governor's proposal was a balanced budget. We're just lower. And so that comes on the leadership of Bill Batchelder and Speakers Batchelder and Ron Olmsted and many of us who worked on the budget have put a great, I feel, a strong budget that's going to pull things back, as many of have asked, and not take the money from Washington that we know that is tempting, and we know that other states are looking at taking those dollars, but we feel strongly that we're not going to kick that time bomb, and like I said, down the road. We can't. We cannot do that to the next generations. And so there will be probably people who will there's going to be so many parliamentary maneuvers. Unfortunately, I'm an expert on that. So like I say, I have a feeling Tuesday and Thursday I'm going to be getting my up and down exercise on the microphone. But I feel strong that we'll be able to knock those parliamentary moves down. And if it's a up and down vote or a tabling of a vote, I can do that. So I expect that I'll be doing a few of those. But that's basically what we have in the structure of the budget. There's a lot of other operations of the budget in place, but we had numerous hours of hearing on other budgets, and the governor gave us a great framework. He did, a foundation to work on, and we may disagree on some of the things in the budget, but you got to remember, he really did pull us out of an $8 billion deficit. Our economy is turning around. We may disagree, but I still, in my heart, after talking to him, he just wants us to debate this thing, have proper debate. Not because at the end of the day, if we didn't have proper debate in the House and the Senate, and we would have looked the other way, the media would have accused us of not even having proper debate. So I feel the governor is giving us cover in a way by saying, here, understand it, talk about it. The House, you do your version. The Senate, you do your version. So media again comes back. The media wants to play it as we're fighting everyone. We're fighting the governor. We're fighting the speaker. We're fighting the president of the Senate. It's not true, folks. We're just doing the process that you've asked us to do. Hear things, listen to the people in your districts, listen to people commenting. The emails, our server crashed yesterday. Thank you. So my aide, my chief of staff, Michael, texted me when I'm in the middle of hearing, our server went down, we crashed, and I expected that. And that's a lot of you contacting us and saying, hold strong. You know, there's going to be, again, more healthy debate. More healthy debate Tuesday and Thursday, and then to the Senate. So, Cleveland Plain Dealer asked me last night, they were another paper that hit me up and said, well, this is things almost over. I told them, we're not even at halftime yet. We still have the Senate process. So I encourage you to reach out to your senator or senators, you know, in that process. After Thursday, it is over there. I will promise you that I'm going to follow it over there, and I've been speaking to senators about it, and they're going to do the same process of guaranteed hearings, and that's what we do. And one thing you like about this, if you go on Ohio House website, you'll see a lot of breakdowns, and you can actually get on and see the Finance Committee live on webinar. You can actually see our hearings. If you want to see some entertainment all wee hours morning, if you don't want to sleep, you'll see us. And I'm in the front row, right in the middle. I asked Ron Armstead why he did that, and I told him maybe because I'm good looking. But I think I'm just a big boy and he wanted me to block him. So that's the first time we've ever done that. We won't